as Lerato promised you, we've got Sean on the line. Hi, Sean. How are you?
I'm very well, Lerato.
I'm good. Sean, this is Kinosi. You were speaking to Lerato earlier on.
Hi, Sean. I'm here too.
Hi.
And
so, Sean.
Yes.
How have you been, my darling?
I've been very, very well. Cooking up a storm at the moment, but otherwise well.
Can we come through for dinner?
Of course. Take a helicopter over.
I love you for your response, okay? Now, Sean, I understand that you're a singer, a songwriter, a poet, a painter. Okay, what are you exactly?
Well, you know, I started off basically more on the musical side, singing, songwriting, and my songwriting really started from hence my cousin who was a songwriter, and he started writing these most amazing songs, and I always used to ask him, Conrad, can you write me a song, please, you know, one for me kind of thing, and would always say, oh yes, absolutely, my next song that I'm going to give to you, you can have that song, Sean. You know, and that just went on and on. One day I just thought, to hell with you, I'm going to start writing my own songs. And that's how I started the songwriting. And I've always been into music. I was 7 years old when I bought my first LP. I've always loved music. I'm not a musician, though. I can play the piano feebly. But I write my songs basically out of my head, with the melody out of my head, recorded with that melody as I sing it. And then I take it to a musician, put the chords down. But getting back to your question, what am I? I'm a little bit of all of them. I won't regard myself as a great painter. I just paint things also just by whatever I think I want to paint. I don't look at anything when I paint. I paint things out of my head. And the poetry just comes naturally. But the poetry, people always say to me, oh, why don't you turn your poems into songs? And yes, I suppose I could do that, but the approach is different, because in a song you're limited, because you've got to have a verse and a chorus, and you've got to trim it so that it suits or blends in with the music. Whereas with the poetry, I have a little bit more flexibility, I would say.
Okay, I'm going to say this, Sean. You sound like a genius.
Yeah.
Like, you write songs, you play a piano, and you write poems out of your head. I mean, what can you not do?
What can I not do? Let me think about that. Oh, golly. Well, you know, I just love anything art-related. Anything, you know, related to art, music, anything. Whether it's painting, whether it's poetry, music. I think we're all really creators in our own right. You know, we all create. Even if you think of a hairstylist, they create. They create hairstyles. You know, so I think we all have a little bit of an artist in us. Even what you're doing as you know, being a presenter on a radio station, I think that would actually, I could get up on a stage and I would probably be able to sing to millions of people, but I wouldn't be able to do what you do in the studio. I would be a nervous wreck.
Oh, okay. Okay, Sean, you know, see here, I wanted to ask you, what inspired you to venture into the art world?
Sorry, your voice has dwindled a little bit. It's gone a little bit soft.
I wanted to ask you, what inspired you to venture into the art world?
What venture? You know, I think it's something that's sort of always been a natural thing for me. I think when I was at school, I was frowned upon a lot because I wasn't the, you know, rugby player or that sort of thing. I was more into art class and more into music and that sort of thing, you know, and I wasn't, in inverted commas, I wasn't sort of like one of the mana. I didn't sort of like do the mainstream stuff. And I don't know, I think it's just something that you sort of like, I think I got it from my father. I didn't know my paternal father, but when I met up with my family, who actually did know my father, I said, you know, tell me a little bit about him. And they didn't know anything about me. They didn't know that I do music or anything. And they said, oh, well, first of all, he was a music fanatic, you know, and so I think it must be in the genes somewhere, somehow.
Oh, Okay.
It's beautiful.
Very nice. It sounds nice. So how was the atmosphere in the community when you were growing up as an LGBTI artist? You know?
Well, okay, I think I'm probably a little bit older than you guys, so
Yes.
I go back to the days of the 80s. I was in high school in the 80s, and it was difficult. I'm not going to lie to you, it was difficult because, you know, you often, as I said earlier, you're frowned upon because you're regarded as this alien.
Sure.
You know, I can actually share something very personal with you, what happened to me in high school in the 80s. I was walking down the corridor and another student actually came walking towards me and actually spat in my face.
Oh my goodness.
And I went to the principal and I reported the incident, and the principal said to me, and this was his words, I quote, or these were his words, and he said, well, people like you, okay?
People like you.
People like you deserve that. And, you know, when I tell people this today, they turn to me and they say, why didn't you sort of like take him on from a legal perspective? And then I say, hang on, remember it was the 80s. As a gay person, you had no rights.
Oh my goodness.
So it's difficult for people nowadays, especially for youngsters, you know, gay people growing up now who are totally living a life of, you know, okay, there's still discrimination will always be there, bigotry will always be there.
That's
but
true.
It's difficult for them to wrap their mind around something like that, to actually say, yes, but you should have done something. And I say, what? Because if I'd gone to a police station or something back in the 80s and said, okay, I'm being discriminated against because of my sexuality or my sexual orientation, they would have chased me out of the police station. So it's difficult for people really to think, you know, of how it must have been, because that was really what it was like.
Oh my goodness, it sounds horrendous. But you know what? I think you should walk up to your old headmaster and tell him, look at me now.
Oh, I wish I could, but he dropped dead on the tennis court.
Oh my goodness. Okay, no.
Not that I'm lost.
Oh my goodness. Okay, that's also horrible. But anyways, now I actually stumbled upon your book, your ebook, An Affair with Life. How incredible is that? I mean, 51 poems.
And why such an heading? Why such a, like, what do you call it? A heading for a book, a title for a book. Oh.
You know, I think An Affair with Life is really sort of like something that touches everybody. Everybody really has an affair with life, and we all have different stories to tell. You know, I've thought of a million book titles. I work in a very strange way. People don't always understand how I work. I thought of a lot of titles and that sort of thing, and, you know, okay, this would be the title, this would be suited. And then I woke up one morning and the title just dropped into my head and it said An Affair with Life.
There we go.
And I thought, okay, I'm not going to argue. I'm going to go with the voice of intuition. Wherever it came from, whether it came from a higher power or whatever, I'm going to go with this. And I also knew, oddly enough, the day when the photographer and I went down to the beach to do the cover of the book, we sort of like took different pictures, and I knew that when he said to me, just go and sit over there, I just want to test the flash. And when he took the photo, I immediately knew this is my book cover.
Oh, beautiful. That's such a beautiful story.
Like, you know, I just work in weird ways. Like, I'm working on an album now as well, because I said I want to do a complete album with original music before I turn 45, and I turn 45 in March next year. So I'm working on an album, okay? I've said, okay, I want to draw a line on everything that I've done in the past, on all the old songs, whatever. I'm working on new, fresh material, and the album's going to be called Perpetual, which is also a strange way of how I... you know, chose the title, because when I went to go and look at, not that I read the dictionary or something like that, but when I just went to go and look at other synonyms for perpetual, it meant ongoing, never ending, you know, never giving up. And I'm not saying I'm perpetual, but music is perpetual, because it just goes on and on and on, that even someday when I'm 6 foot under, people would be able to go and read my book, go and listen to the music and that sort of thing. So it's something that you know, will stay behind, kind of thing. which is, which I think is great. And also outside of music, what I do as well is I also teach English. I'm also an English teacher.
Oh.
And
nice.
the wonder of it is that I'm an online teacher, which I just do as outside of the music kind of thing. And I speak to people in each and every part and corner of the world. And, whether it be Russia, Siberia, Brazil, Canada, wherever, it doesn't matter. And at a drop of a hat, they go and look up my music, they go and look up my book, and they download it. And I made the first book, the poetry book, a free download to sort of like just put my feelers out there because it was my first book that I published. But the second book I would obviously do more of a legit story book. I think it would be more like a biographical kind of thing. But the amazing thing is that I would get I would receive an inbox message on Facebook from a lady in Russia who says that I'm a school teacher and one of our 11-year-old pupils sung one of your songs to her classmates, and she recited one of your poems. She recited it in English, and then she translated it into Russian for the class.
Oh, I saw that. I saw that on your page, actually. That's beautiful.
Yes, and it's those little things that just, it's not bragging, but it's just little things that keep me going. I'll get a message from a painter, oil painter in Venezuela, saying, I love listening to your music while I paint. I don't see myself as a household name. No, I'm not a Justin Bieber or anything like that. But I think that I've sort of like managed to tap into people's psyche in a different way.
Yeah, it's better to be different anyway, isn't it?
Absolutely.
No,
Why be the norm?
We're about to play your song, Over You, which actually won an award in 2008. Can you tell us more about that song?
Yes, I wrote that song purely to write a really commercial radio-friendly song.
No.
And it's about relationships. It's about when you want to get over somebody, but you're battling to forget about that person, and you want to forget about that person, but then you want to contact them again, that kind of thing.
I know that, trust me.
Come here and walk away sort of scenario.
Everyday life.
Yes. And then they hosted this competition. There's a local radio station that hosted a competition for songwriters and so forth. And then they contacted me and asked me would I perform at the award evening. And I actually just went there thinking, I'm just going to be like a gap filler performing kind of thing. And then it actually won, I think it was a most original song.
Yes.
For the year or something, yes, if I remember correctly. Yes, and it's always been one of my favorites.
It is actually one of my favorites.
It's actually our favorite.
Thank you. Well, I hope I'll definitely let you guys have a copy of the new album as well.
Oh my goodness.
I'm so happy, Sean.
Are you not heaven sent?
I don't know.
We believe that you are. I mean,
such an angel.
Oh my goodness. Well, thank you very much. You and your sexy name, Sean Achilleos.
Yes, well, thank you very much.
That is it's so fancy.
You guys sound great, and I'm so proud of you guys that you've actually started this.
Okay, I'm blushing now. My cheeks are all red. Thank you very much for joining us. Now we're going to play it to the people.
Great, thank you so much, and thank you for the opportunity for this exposure and interview. Thank you.
Enjoy your dinner, lovey.
I will do. You too. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.